Listen, I like going to the theatre to see shows, all this kind of stuff. I think it's nice. The only thing that can ruin it a lot of the time are other people around me. I don't like people talking throughout a show. I don't like people singing throughout a show unless it's a sing-along. Especially when there's signs saying, please don't sing. I don't like people coughing. I don't like people rustling bags. I don't like people leaning over to the kids. Can you see on stage? Can you see? Yes, they can see. The stage is this fucking big and it's right in front of us. They can see. That's why I walked out of Frozen, even though Disney gave me free tickets. I hate it as well when people are on their phones. One time, even when I went to the movies to see, what was it at the time? I think it was Annabelle. Some guy just answered his phone. It rang loud. He picked it up and answered the call. I think there's a certain etiquette when you go into a public space that you should be respectful of, right? And I feel like if you're going to talk loudly, if you're going to be disrespectful, if you're eating something that stinks, if all the, you should be told. Someone needs to tell you. Or you go to the people at work and just be like, just so you know, this guy's talking the whole way through. He's singing in my ear the whole way through. Can you please tell him to stop? So this video went super viral and it happened at a Mamma Mia show. I don't like Mamma Mia. I feel it's fucking terrible. I've never seen the stage show, the movie. It's just people rolling around singing all the time.
I need a security over here now. Because these ladies and this whole section's gonna vouch for it. You wanna make a scene? I'm gonna make a scene. Messing my teenage nieces again. Bullshit. I need, where is their security guard? I need security right here. Because this whole section knows they've been loud and obnoxious. Now they want to use profanity in front of my nieces. I'm so sorry. Once you start messing with my teenage nieces, then I got an issue with that. I can never heard this line. Nah, man. I'm sorry. I've been more than patient. Everybody in this section.
So that was what's that accent? I love that accent. That was pretty intense. It seemed like a lot of people around were just kind of looking and something clearly went down. He mentions his teenage nieces, so I'm assuming they have done something worth being shouted at to his nieces. I mean, I'd love to lose at someone like that in some of these theatres, to be honest with you. Okay, what's this?
We're singing along, rather loudly, getting a little rambunctious, and they were asked.
That's obnoxious, sorry. If you go somewhere and it's not a sing-along and you sing out really loudly when other people around you have paid to see this, at a theatre, it's not the same amount of volume as a concert. That's really fucking... Who wants to hear you sing?
Nicely by this man, at first to please stop. They responded back, with some expletives. Not a very nice response.
Canella says the man walked away to call security and saw one of the women do this near the man's nieces.
Waved her hands like this over the two young girls' heads.
Messing my teenage nieces again.
She says security spoke to them separately.
The man returned to his seat, very apologetic. We saw the woman come back and say something, oh, we have to leave. Apparently we have to leave because we were singing.
And they left before Act 2. One of the actresses commented on a post saying she could hear the women from the stage.
No. So for someone on stage to be able to hear you singing, that's crazy. Who the fuck is paying to hear you sing? No one. The people on the stages are people they are paying to hear sing. I don't want someone who can't sing in my ear hear singing. Absolutely not. I would absolutely 100% say something. Who is arrogant enough to do that? That is crazy. So that was one of the women at the show, not one of the ones being shouted at. And yes, I think they should have been kicked out over that. 100%. Going somewhere singing that fucking loud and then kind of antagonizing the niece and this guy by waving their hands over. You don't want someone random child doing that to like your children or your niece. Given the fact as well, sorry, back to the actors, that they're the ones mic'd up and they have things in their ears so they can hear themselves singing. To be able to hear someone in the audience, if I was one of the actors, I would have been like, these people need to leave. I don't know where they are, but they need to leave. So like I said earlier, this situation went super viral, talking probably like 30 million views total. And everyone's been talking about it. So naturally the guy involved made a response video too.
Hi, I know there's a viral video circulating the internet about a man this past weekend at the Mamma Mia show on Broadway. And I'm here to say that was me. During the first act, numerous requests were ignored about singing obnoxiously loud, clapping, laughing, having conversations. Intermission hit, and again asked them to please keep it down for the second act, where they replied with profanity on separate occasions, directed at my nieces, directed at my wife, directed at me. So I did remove myself from the situation to go find an usher. I was in the aisle looking for an usher. And when I look back, I see this lady hovering her hands over my niece, both of my niece's heads. And that's where I thought it had gone far enough. So I came back, and that's when the video starts. And I'm asking for security to come to us because at this point I had had enough. And it had gone way too far.
Listen, I know some people are going to say, like, you know, people shouldn't get that angry or that hyped up, or, yeah, some people deserve it. I'm going to be real with you. Some people just need to be screamed at. Some people punched in the face. Not in this situation, but, you know, sometimes it's like, yeah, you got what you deserved. I love that he embarrassed people like that. They clearly don't have any shame in what they're doing, so call them out. Call them out as loudly as you can, as long as it's not in the middle of the show. I think he also kind of understood at one point in the first video that perhaps what he did wasn't like the best thing to be doing. But I actually think he did nothing wrong. I bet everyone around him was also feeling the same thing, but that push that he got was the threat. Not the threat, but it could be a threat, depending how you take it, to the niece. Like, oh, I'm not touching them, I'm not touching them, you know, that childish kind of thing. I mean, it really just was just these people behaving poorly. I mean, if these people were behaving poorly towards my family, I would also say something. I can't be the only person confused at the hand-waving thing. I really do think it's like, ooh, you're worried about your nieces. Ooh, I'm gonna touch them. You know what I mean? It's like some drunk person antic.
Okay, I know we all have been following this story about the uncle who yelled at the women behind him for being abusive to his nieces at Mamma Mia the other night. So I am the production stage manager for Mamma Mia on Broadway. So I have a little bit more insight into the whole story. It's really become more of a conversation about theater etiquette and less about this specific story. Yes, I would love to find this man, and I would like to thank him for his support of keeping the arts a place that's special.
For somebody to say it who especially works for Mamma Mia and like who works in the theatre in general, this can't be like a one-time situation. This must be something that happens a lot and something that people get really pissed off by. Like I said, it would annoy me. It would really annoy me. For him to say, like, you know, it's about theatre etiquette, the fact that people are having a conversation about it means that people go into a public place and annoy people all the time. Like, yeah, we know that. Like, a public place where you're all sitting and you're trying to be respectful, and you're all there to watch something, and you have all paid to be there and enjoy the same thing. It isn't a case of, I'm going to enjoy it my way. The enjoyment is sitting there and watching it happen. If singing and screaming loudly around other people when it is not a sing-along situation, I'm sorry, but you weren't just raised in the barn, you were raised in a shithole by shit people, if you think that's acceptable to do.
But I'm also really interested in continuing this conversation about what is etiquette in the theater anymore. And not just etiquette in the theater, but just sort of human kindness. And where do we go from here in this post-COVID world where we've stopped caring about the feelings of others and we're just looking sort of selfishly at things? That's what
I mean, it definitely happened before COVID too.
really feels like to me as a stage manager, but also as a marriage and family therapist. I'm always looking for conversations that engage the human spirit and the human condition.
A stage manager and a family busiest man in the world. That's crazy.
And how do we stay true to ourselves, but also care for people as a whole? We don't see that in our government, but we can see that in our everyday movements. So thanks for the talks so far, and I hope they keep going.
Absolutely loving that we are all Team Uncle. I also want to thank this commenter, None Your Business. Thank you for making it our business. So Nunya states that she was 2 rows away from this incident, and that it is her opinion that Crash Out Mamma Mia Uncle, his reaction was 100% justified. Sadly, it is being reported that Crash Out Uncle was asked to leave the show, which I think is a travesty because we all know those types of women, and it looks like they, again, are getting away with bad behavior.
Well, it seems like they were asked to leave as well, according to the other person who was there. I thought she said that he came and sat back down and the women were asked to leave.
As they probably have been getting away with their bad behavior since like middle school. One of my commenters made that correlation, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, these women in these type of shows who have zero respect and like to cuss and pick, and then when the camera gets turned on them, they're like, what? I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's classic mean girl behavior who's never been called on their shit. And I think we are also team uncle because he finally did what we've all wanted to do.
Yeah.
And did not let them get away with it. Nunya goes on in her post to say that they were singing really loudly, talking really loudly. From 2 rows away, she could hear this. She could...
Listen, I don't want to even hear you if I'm sitting next to you. You can talk to them, you know, and no one's going to hear you because you have speakers everywhere. Granted, it's not like crazy, crazy loud. But, I mean, surely, as an adult, you should be able to monitor your volume.
Hear the uncle saying... could you please keep it down? Could you please keep it down? They were still cussing. They were still like, you shut the fuck up and leave us alone. Yeah, we all know these type of women. And we are all, again, so team uncle because he did what we've all wanted to do is just stand up, shine a light in their faces and being like, your behavior is unacceptable. And now we're going to call you out. And I think this is how people need to handle mean girls in the future. Just call them out. Yeah, you may have some consequences. You may have to leave the show, but embarrass the shit out of them.
Yes.
Don't get physical, but embarrass the shit out of them.
That goes for
I
anyone.
guarantee you this behavior will stop when we start calling out the bad behavior. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I do think people that do, adults that have this kind of bad behavior in public, there is something wrong with them because you can't surely be this much of an adult and still behave in this way and think it's fine. Like, that to me is absolutely crazy. But as a grown-up person, you think this is acceptable behavior in the slightest. Imagine how embarrassing it is to be an adult, a grown-up, you know, and be kicked out for bad behavior. Like when you're kicked out of class at school and you have to sit outside the classroom and wait for your teacher to come and be like, you need to owe me an apology. You know what I mean? Like that feeling of like, come on now, you're an adult and you're being kicked out a Mamma Mia show for bad behavior. But they stink too. All right, let me know your opinions down below. Please do subscribe if you have not already. Give this video a thumbs up and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.